Yeah, for sure. The way I look at it is like over the last 2 3 months, a lot of the coins that have been sold have all been young coins. So, like Dylan said, you can look at the UTXOs, look at separate them by age, by the size of the wallets or entities that are holding those UTXOs. And so what you've seen is like the average age of the UTXOs being moved has been trending down and down and down over the last 2 3 months. And so to me, what that's showing is it's basically noobs in the market. These aren't We're not seeing selling from these long-term holders or experienced market participants, right? It's all new market entrants. And I suspect a lot of this has to do as well with some of these arbitrage opportunities that popped up at the end of the end of 2020, beginning of this year. And so some of these sellers were people that had come into Bitcoin in this market neutral way, did not care about Bitcoin as hard money that's going to be the new monetary premium for the whole world. They were just looking at this as a number on a screen, and the trade was over, so they move out. So I think that played a big role in the move down. Miners selling, the forced selling from the hash migration. I think that played some role, but at least in the data that I look at, it didn't play as big of a role as some people had stated. Because I mean, according to Glassnode, the miners sold about a little over 5,000 coins in like mid May to mid June. So that's not anything that was gonna really affect the market. I just think it was new, hedge funds that had gotten in recently. And you saw this huge uptick in like new whales, kind of in like January, December, January, that time frame, which kind of aligns with some of these ARB opportunities popping up. And then also, then you look at when the number of whales started trending down, that also correlates with some of these ARB opportunities going away. So I suspect that that played a huge role. But at the same time, you have these, like you were saying, these long term buyers, right? These people with conviction that are just coming in, and they keep stacking. They don't really care about the price. And so you look at these smaller wallets. I know Willie's talked about this on your show before, but when you look at these smaller wallets, they've been hockey sticking upwards in terms of their holdings over the last month or two. I've actually created a ratio taking like all of retail's holdings, so any entity on the blockchain with less than 10 BTC, and then you're comparing that to the overall supply and circulation. And so, like, when you plot that out over time, what you see is that retail holds a larger and larger portion of supply. And then at the same time, when you take whales and you do that the same thing, and you filter out like the purpose ETF, you filter out grayscale, you filter out exchanges, because these are all these entities are recognized as whales on chain, right? So you have to filter those out. What you see is that over time, whales are distributing their coins. So you have this dichotomy where retail is steadily buying, right, over time, increasingly more so. Whales are distributing their coins, and so to me, what that shows is just really healthy network growth. And then, in the recent last 2 months, it's been interesting to see retail actually outpacing the buying of whales. So every single cohort has been buying, which is, first of all, like this is a side thing, but like it's unlike anything that you've ever seen going back in Bitcoin's history. Literally every single cohort is buying right now. When you filter out for those ETFs and stuff. But at the same time, retail's been buying at a greater pace than whales have, and I think they have outpaced them as of last week. The last time I looked, by like 25 or 30,000 BTC. So yeah, I mean, like people really don't give as much credit to the little guys. And then like you also aren't considering the fact that a lot of retail, they keep their coins on exchanges. So some of these entities that I'm looking at, they're showing they could be like custody solutions, or also when we're talking about coins moving on to exchanges, like there if we were somehow able to like look into these providers or just the exchanges in general and see how many retail participants like held however many coins on those platforms, I suspect like the number of UTXOs held by these small guys is way higher than what we see right now. But over time you do see it, that positive trend of like distribution where, like, yeah, people still talk about like Bitcoin being highly concentrated, and to an extent that's kind of true, but Bitcoin's only 12 years old, and so to see like this natural distribution progression over time, I think is like really good.